Hello. Welcome to another Battleship Inspection in World of Warships, buddy. And we're looking at it. We're looking at the Navarin. Oh, I'm getting chills just looking at these replays again. Oh my goodness, the Navarin is a very funny little boat. It's a silly and it is a goofy ship. You have 12 guns with one turret in the front and two in the rear. Now, the rear turrets actually have 360 rotation, which is very cool. The AP shells themselves are not bad at all either. They have solid penetration. These are 406s. The HE hits very hard. Well, I guess not very hard, but the fire chance is quite high. 44 fire chance is very improved for this gun caliber. Very good fire chance. Decent HE alpha. But you do have a 35-second reload, which is pretty shit. And more importantly, this is a battleship dispersion, normal battleship dispersion, with 1.4 sigma. So aside from Marco Polo, you are like the least accurate BB in the game. I still just literally can't understand what's going on with that boat. Anyway, so you are a shotgun, but the AP does connect hard if it hits things, right? I mean, you have okay alpha damage. It's low for 406s, but it's whatever. So the real reason to play this boat is the secondaries. Now, people say that about other boats, that anyone with room temp IQ knows you don't build for secondaries, right? Like Sicilia. People claim that you should build that boat for secondaries, which is objectively retarded, right? People say that about like Pommern and FDG and GK. So are the secondaries on the Navarin worth building for? 100% yes. The secondaries on Navarin are fucking cracked, brother. They are insane. Legitimately, these secondaries are crazy. You have very high hitting DPM, but it's not just the hitting DPM, lads. You have what I believe someone can we just pause real quick? Don't you enjoy your BB being balanced around having torpedo tubes in your brawling German battleship? Do you enjoy your torpedo tubes? Yes, you do. But the fire starting on the secondaries is out of control, dude. I believe the base, the raw, the unedited, uncut, and girthy base fire starting of these secondaries is like 37 fires a minute. Keep in mind, Ohio is like renowned for how many fires the secondaries start. Ohio only has like 31-ish fires per minute out of the secondaries, and Ohio is also in tier 10. So, not even factoring. I mean, I don't even know, bro. We're the main character on that one, I guess. So factoring in that you're in tier 9, if you were to factor in tier 9, because tier 9 ships have like reduced resistance to fire starting, remember? Then it's extra insane. But even without factoring in tier for tier, like the fire starting of these secondaries is fucking bananas. With very high hitting DPM. And your ship is quite stealthy. You can get down to 12.1 km concealment. Your secondaries don't have the German French range, but they have the normal BB range, so you can get them out to 11.3. So you have 12.1 km detect. You have 11.3 km secondary range. Now, that's not very much. That's only 0.8 kilometers you have to close. However, you are a fat fucking piglet. This thing is insanely slow. I think our top speed is like, a lot of the replay won't let me see, but we'll get up to max speed later. You're under 30 knots, right? So you're under 30 knots and you've got to close 0.8 kilometers. Now, if the enemy ship is pushing into you, that's no problem whatsoever. No big deal of any kind, right? Totally fine. But if they're even kited or flat to start, then they easily get away and they can run away. Now, here I'm going to roll the dice, trying to get rid of the Jaeger Torps, and, we're going to go flat to its high hung at 14 kilometers. And, it is, You know, these things happen, fellas. These things do in fact happen because you actually have a Citadel. Oh my god. The ship is unplayably bad. Get it out of here. You actually have a Citadel in Navarin. If you go flat to anything at medium range, the odds of a dev strike are not zero. And so this is what kind of ends up happening in Navarin. Is in most of your games, you just don't ever get to secondary people. And if you had anything approaching speed, this would not necessarily be that big of a problem. But we do have another gigantic glaring issue. Here we see the submarine player in his Jaeger is just fidget spinning to tort me all game long, right? And this guy's looking, bro. He wants it again. His neurons got so activated with that 40k hit. He wants it. And I don't care. I'm going flat again. I'm bored. Like, whatever. Plot armor. I'll get some of it eventually, right? We'll be fine. But this is the problem, is your speed. If you went like 33 knots with speed flag, then you could like fairly comfortably get in secondary range and stay in secondary range. And it's the staying in secondary range that's like virtually impossible most of the time, unless people push into you. And then your secondary shred. I mean, like with this build, we're taking like, I think we're going full greed on the fire starting. So I'm even taking like the fire chance flag and the 1-point captain skill. And I believe because I'm taking those, we are up to like 45. No, I am not misspeaking fires per minute. We are up to like legitimately 40 fucking 5 fires a minute on the secondaries, which is bananas. But the problem is you just like very often don't get to use them. And then of course this game is a buggy pile of shit. This guy is 10-7. Our secondary range is 11-3. Our main guns that have a flatter trajectory than our secondaries obviously can clear the island. But the game will refuse to allow our secondaries to target this Jaeger because this game is designed by fucking idiots that cannot fix any of their simple bugs. So we don't get to secondary him at all. So we're just going to shoot the gap, go for the island, right? We're probably going to end up losing the game because I gave that guy 40k. If I had that 40,000 health right now and got to push in later, we would have, I don't know, maybe like a 20 to 30% chance of winning. Probably still a guaranteed loss, but there is a universe we probably could maybe win. But I just don't have the HP and my whole team sucks. So, you know, that's what happens. You make a mistake 5 minutes into the game, and then 10 minutes later, you end up being unable to carry your team to a win because you made one mistake, which is what battleship players claim to want from their battleships. But then, of course, when it happens to their battleships, they cry about it. So we're just pushing in. Now, that is not why the ship is bad. I have no problem with an exposed citadel. In fact, I wish every BB had citadels like this, especially ships like Libtard. Libtard is a ship that obviously should have like a Marlborough level citadel and doesn't get one for no reason, right? The problem is the hull profile. And if we look here, fellas, look at all these little secondaries sticking out of my hull. This hull is the final boss of shell traps. Truly. Also, my team refusing to kill Taihong is going to lose the game for us. But this hull is the final fucking boss of shell traps. There is no such thing as angling in the Navarin. Not only is there no such thing as angling in the Navarin, but it's the Giga AIDS turbo toxic version of shell trapper hull, where it actually benefits bad players that you're in this boat, because everyone has experienced this. When you were in a brawl, what do bad players do? They just randomly shoot you at the base of your superstructure on your upper belt, and you just angle in slightly, and they do 0 damage to you, right? Well, when those fucking bad players aim right here, see this whole area I'm hovering over? It's one gigantic shell trapper. Like, there is no such thing as angling in this boat. It's worse if you're nose in, but it's bad as well if you're stern in, but it is worse if you're nose in. But particularly nose in, they're just, angling in this thing isn't a thing. Like, you can't angle in this boat. It doesn't work. And it's, honest to God, I would say worse, legitimately worse, I would say, than having an overmatchable bow. I think I would actually prefer a completely smooth hull on Navarin with an overmatchable bow because there's no way to mitigate the damage. Like the entire boat, you can see the stepped profiles near the turrets, near the superstructure, near the casemate secondaries. It's all, there you go, 1.4 Sigma without running aiming mod. We're as accurate as a Marco Polo, which is very cool. We're just going to keep bringing that up in every review for the fucking rest of eternity. So, trying to turn in, we're trying to angle to the torps. Unfortunately, our team left the Tai Hong alive. Everyone refused to shoot him. He will be the main reason we end up dying, which is unfortunate, but, we have to obviously take blame for donating 40k to that guy. Just assuming we would have plot armor like most of the people we shoot at. We don't have plot armor, though, so it's totally fine. And then, of course, we're going to just do nothing but try to kill the carrier as God intended. But you see there, like, just a randomly dogshit aim salvo is, like, somehow 8,500, even though we're fully saturated on the superstructure. And that's just, like, the norm. Like, when you are perfectly bow in the Navarin, like, it feels like it doesn't even matter what the enemy player aimed at. Like, did he aim at your rear turret? 10k. Did he aim perfectly at the tip of your bow? 10k. Did he actually use skill to try to snipe superstructure? 10k. Like, it just feels like it doesn't fucking matter what you do. You're just gonna get 10k or more. We're talking about longer, close to max range kind of engagements, but when this ship is in secondary range, when you are fighting Navarin at 10 kilometers, we've gotten another double Citadel on this man, which is just unbelievable. He completely missed, so he didn't get damaged that time. But like the feeling you get when you play this boat is like there's nothing you can do to mitigate damage. Even in ships with overmatchable bow and stern, you do actually have some ability to mitigate damage because you can you can go flat and then you can angle in time. I mean, this Jaeger is like literally AFK in spawn. It's honestly amazing, right? So I mean, we're dead. This is what I meant by if I had that extra 40,000 HP, right? Right now, I would be on 43,000 HP if I didn't donate to that Tai Hong. Do we still lose? Probably. But could we win? Maybe. Instant fire with the secondaries. I mean, we definitely would have been able to take out at least, the Tennessee. Maybe get traded after that. But I think we would have had a chance to win. Much like the last review I did with a couple reviews ago in Marlboro, Unfortunately, we got to take some responsibility for another throw here. Not really a throw, but I think I would have been able to carry us to a win. I think I could have brawled the Tennessee and the Colorado, killed both of them, and I think that would probably have won us the game. Maybe a bit of copium, but, again, donating, making a bad play, made it guaranteed we lose. So, if I don't donate, do we guarantee win? No, we maybe have like a 1 in 3 chance of winning, but hey, that's better than a 0% chance as my teammates sit AFK and spawn, right? So we're just going to skip through. The game's over. But unfortunately, that's kind of how most Navarin games go, is you push in. It's pretty easy to get in like one secondary fight. Maybe like one initial secondary fight is not super challenging to get into. But then people just turn flat. You're inconsistent at punishing them. They run away. You go like 28 knots. So you can't fucking chase them. You cannot keep them in secondary range. And then the biggest issue, though, is like your hull is so bad that like you don't want to be getting shot at inside your secondary range. That's probably the biggest takeaway from the hull. Is what's the point of having great secondaries if being in the range of your great secondaries? I mean, you see here, this is a perfect view of like the insanity of the shell trapping near the front turrets. But what is the asset of having this insane secondary firepower? And it is crazy. I mean, before Los Andes came out, I think you could make an incredibly strong case that these are the best secondaries in Tier 9. They don't pen much, but they have, like, again, with this build, bro, 45 fires per fucking minute. That is obscene. Do you understand how obscene that is? And it does feel, you do feel like you have that kind of fire starting, because there's a lot of times in this game, like your secondaries fire one salve and you just get a fucking insta fire. Like it's unreal, right? And you have high hitting DPM. So combined with that, like these are definitely overall better than like Rubric secondaries for sure. They're a bit harder to use because Rubric takes no skill to get in secondary range and stay in it, right? Because your ship is fast. Concealment almost matches the secondaries. But once you're in secondary range, like these are probably the best secondaries in tier 9 aside from Los Andes. They're insanely good. But the hull, dude, I just can't stop bitching about it because if this ship had a smooth hull, like it'd be pretty fucking good. Honest to God. I am not a secondary battleship fan. I don't understand what enjoyment people get out of the game for the AI doing their damage for them. To me, I just don't. It doesn't make logical sense to me. But they can be fun. I mean, okay, to me they're not fun, but they can be strong, right? Like Los Andes is not a fun ship, but Los Andes is brokenly overpowered, right? Like Valparaiso, it's an anti-fun ship, but it's obviously insanely strong, right? Ruprecht, anti-fun. I mean, I don't like Ruprecht at all. Maybe a bad example, but you get my point, right? Like these ships can be incredibly strong as secondary boats if the ships are good enough. And that's really honestly all that thing would need. If all these shell trappers were gone and you just had this step in the rear of the Citadel, or not the rear of the Citadel, the rear of the superstructure, right? If this was smooth and then had a shell trapper here, I could even deal with the shell trappers in the stern, but man alive, dude. It's the worst of both worlds because when 42 win rate bots shoot your stern in Navar or your bow in Navarin, they don't know where to aim at you, and their default 42 win rate player aim point gives them big damage. But then, God fucking forbid. Bro, if you fight a dude who knows where to shoot this thing, it is GG Reds. Pack it up. Game over. You're fucking cooked. You got these great secondaries, but you know what? You fight an Iowa player at 10 kilometers who knows a thing or two about shell traps, and like you can get like two shot. Like I have been 30k'd perfectly angled by non-overmatch AP. Legitimately, like I have been 30k'd at a 10-degree angle in these fucking shell trappers. It's unfucking real, dude. And then you are, of course, we must say, a bit of a nightmare when people have 32 overmatch, because you kind of have a icebreaker-ish kind of thing going on, but it's not really very great, right? So, you know, we're mostly going to spam HE. I think that's kind of the play in this thing. Is the fire chance is crazy. It's one of the, I mean, this is like close to like the Conqueror level fire chance, right? I think Conk is like 48% or something. So the fire chance is extremely, extremely good. But I mean, we're just, you know, just Musashi just randomly shotguns me for 20k. It's totally fine, right? But look at this. Kearsarge is close. Musashi is close. Ooh, we have a secondary potential moment here. Maybe we can get in secondary gun range. But okay, here we go. We're shoveling it in, baby. We're shoveling it in. We're shoveling the coal. Oh yeah, baby, get those engines. Oh yeah, get those furnaces burning. Oh yeah. Oh my God, 25 knots. Oh, let's fucking go. Oh fuck yeah, dude. Oh, Kearsarge doesn't even know what I mean. So cool. We're pushing in, baby. Oh my goodness. In a whole minute, we've closed a kilometer on the Musashi. Let's go. Oh no, I touched the rudder. We're down to 20 knots. Fuck. All right. We got to make this turn. Look at this. Oh my God, 12-1. We're so close. He's broadside. We're so close to being in secondary range. He's getting smoked up. It's fine. This is our moment, guys. It's our moment. Oh my goodness. 45 fires per minute. He's shooting in the smoke. The secondaries are going. Let's fucking go, bro. Let's fucking go. He's going flat. Marco Polo could never. Honest to God, Marco Polo does less damage than I'm about to do this, man. Look at that Elbing dispersion on one turret. Boom, 40k. Let's fucking go. The problem here is he's only going to be in my secondary range for like 20 seconds. Now, I could accelerate right now, right? If I had accelerated right now, I would keep him in secondary range a bit longer. But here's the problem, guys. Musashi is fucking faster than this clown car. Yes. Yes, actually. Musashi is faster than this hunk of bolts. This ship is in a weird spot, balance-wise, I think. Now, I say this a lot. I think secondary boats are stupid and insanely toxic. They're no skill boats. They're stupid. They're unfair to play against. They're overall typically not overpowered, aside from the Pan Am BBs, because typically they trade like long-term game impact and durability for the ability to no skill like one or two people a game. So I don't really want to say secondary boats as a concept are overpowered. They're more in the unfair and stupid category, right? Like, is Schlieffen overpowered? No, Schlieffen is not a very good battleship. But it just doesn't take any skill, and if you get stuck against one, which can easily happen through no fault of your own, it's just like, man, this guy I'm fighting in his Schlieffen is terrible, but it doesn't matter that he's terrible because the computer is playing the game for him. And we are bracketing a Musashi, hitting 0 shells with perfect aim point at 15 km, you know. These things fucking happen. And again, you notice, this is almost an identical situation to what happened in the first replay we looked at, where we pushed in kind of aggressively. We got an opportunity to get the secondaries in the fight for like 30 seconds, and then we can never do it again. And I think this game I will never again get secondary hits on people. Like, I have no ability to catch up to this Musashi. Like, I'm literally slower than him. I'm never going to get him in secondary gun range. And so now I'm just stuck shooting. And this is not true of other secondary ships, right? Los Andes, Ruprecht, right? Some of these ships, they have the speed to get in secondary range and stay in secondary range. And Navarin does not have the speed to get in secondary range or stay in it. Every now and then you can get in it, like with that Musashi, like with the guys in the first replay where they pushed me, right? If people push you, then you can get in secondary range. But you cannot enter secondary range via pushing. Like, it's basically physically impossible because the ship is too slow. And then once you are in secondary range, the hull is just fucking ass, man. I mean, oh, it's honestly just so bad. It's honestly so bad. And then, like, you have an insanely long reload. So, like, even though you have great fire starting and decent alpha, like, it's not even just that you're a shotgun. It's like the reload is so long. And the AP DPM, like the AP damage output is so low. I mean, sure, Musashi goes flat to you, you can 40k it because that guy's a moron. But, like, the problem is you don't have anything close to, like, even decent guns when the game devolves into you have to snipe, right? And, like, because of how I could look past the hull, right? I've been harping on the hull a lot. The hull is dog shit, but I could look past the hull if the ship went like 34 knots, right? If this ship with speed flag went like 33 to 34 knots, I think all of a sudden this would instantly no longer be a contender for worst battleship in the game. I legitimately think that fixing this boat is like that simple. Now, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I don't want wargaming to make secondary boats viable. Like, I don't. I don't want a ship that requires 0 skill to be actually good, right? Libtard is an example of when a ship with 0 skill secondaries gets buffed to the point of being actually good, and then it becomes completely broken, right? So, like, imagine if Navarin had, like, the same hull as Los Andes. It'd be broken. It wouldn't even need the speed, because it would never take any damage while pushing in, right? So, what I would like Wargaming to do, if they wanted to actually make the ship good, not even good, if they wanted to make this ship not one of the worst ships in the game, they could keep the terrible bad dogshit shell trapper hull, which is a balancing feature, right? Because the ship needs speed or a better hull. It needs one of those two things. I would prefer to give it the speed, because that would feature more in line with the gimmick. Because I do appreciate the more fragile aspect of a lot of secondary ships. I think it's more fair, right? I think it's fair if a Schlieffen is going to do 30,000 damage a minute to your Montana, and all he has to do is control left click your boat. I think it is fair that if you click him in the casemate and upper bow, you do 30k a minute back to him, right? And then your ship is tankier overall, you have better healing, right? Like, I do think that that's reasonably a fair engagement, right? Which is part of why, like, to me, the Schlieffen sucks, because any BB player with hands kills it for free, right? But the problem is on Navarin, you have both of these issues. Like, you have incredibly bad hull, but you also have no speed. And the speed wouldn't be as big of a factor either if you had the German-French BB secondary range, right? They get 12 kilometers with the flag. With the full spec, they get 12 at tier 9. And the other BBs only get 11.3 or something. I can't remember what nations have what, but some ships can be 12 km secondaries at this tier, right? And you can only be 11.3. So that closing of 0.8 kilometers, which on a lot of ships is not even remotely a problem, right? I mean, you know, I play, like, for example, I play no conceal on my libtard, and like closing 2 kilometers in that thing is not even hard because you take no damage, right? You take no damage, and you have normal speed with crazy maneuverability, right? It's not as hard, but man, closing 0.8 in Navarin is like, legitimately, it actually is like realistically impossible in a lot of situations. You know, if BBs are flat at 12 and you're pushing them, like, they have so long to turn away, man. And even if you catch people at, like, say 10, 5, 11 that are bow in, they can turn, if they immediately gamer turn against you and just start running in a perfectly straight line away, like, most battleships are 3 to 5 knots faster than this thing, so they just get away. So the game just evolves into this. Like, every single game will eventually devolve, and we're just going to kind of skip through because this game is basically just like my terrible CV player trolling me as the game progresses, right? So we're just trying to get rid of it. We're just going to skip through a bit here. We got a nice hit on their carrier, of course. So, like, I guess these were good games, damage-wise. I mean, this, you know, maybe a bit of a kill steal Kraken, potentially. But, like, you know, 160k for these 2 back-to-back games. Like, I don't want to complain because I guess that's like an okay result, but like, bro, these games in like an Iowa would be insane. And Iowa's always my go-to example because it's a tech tree tier 9 battleship. It's not overpowered. I mean, against cruisers it is, right? We've been over this many times. It's not like overpowered against other BBs. It's a very solid tier 9 battleship. Like, bro, these, like, that first game is 300k in a win in Iowa. This game is 250k in an Iowa. Like, that Musashi is not 40k in Iowa. That Musashi is a dev strike in Iowa, right? That CV is a insta dev strike, not a double shot in Iowa, right? Like, just those 2 moments are an extra 50, 60k damage. Like, so then, you know, obviously the counterpoint to that is, well, yeah, obviously Navarin can't punish things that go flat anywhere near as well as Iowa, then it would be overpowered. And yes, that's true. But the problem is that supposes you actually get to use the fucking secondaries. You just don't. You just don't get to use them. The only time you are going to get to use these secondaries is against 44 IQ lobotomized fucking bots that send it into you. And yeah, you know what? When tier fucking 7, 8, and 9 ships push your 45 fires a minute Navarin, okay, now we're cooking. We are cooking dogs with those secondaries. But, like, you have no ability to push. You have no ability to push in this boat. You don't have the speed to push. You don't have the concealment and secondary range parity to push. You don't have the hull to push. You have gimped healing because you're Russian. You can't build into the healing, so you don't have the long-term survivability to push. Like, the boat fundamentally doesn't make any sense as a secondary boat, but it has amazing secondaries. Unlike Pommern, which has terrible secondaries and is bad at being a secondary ship, this boat just has the latter. This boat has some of the best secondaries in the game. They're amazing. The secondaries on this ship are fucking insanely good. You absolutely should build for them. But 4 out of 5 games, you just won't use them at all. Okay. We are doing it. We changed up the build. Both of these games, we tried to go main guns. Main guns didn't really work, so we just went back to secondaries. But anyway, standard build, secondaries. This slot doesn't matter. We go secondaries. You definitely want prop mod here. You definitely want concealment, and you definitely want secondaries. This is definitely a boat. The only reason to play it is a full secondary spec. The only reason. It does nothing else. And then obviously we would run like full secondary spec here. I believe I have a captain set up for this. If you can bear with me for one moment. Yeah, there you go. So that's the build, right? We're greeting. The base fire chance of the guns, of the secondaries, excuse me, is, we can pull it up real quick. 11, we're buffing this. So default, it's 9%, right? So you have 9% fire chance, 9% fire chance. You pen 22. There would be no value to IFHE. Again, even if you could, even if with IFHE you would pen 32, you would never do that. That would be stupid to give up that many fires a minute. So because our base fires per minute is like 30 fucking 7, and we're adding 2% and 2% because we're taking the flags, we're just full cringing basically. And the fire chance here, we're buffing our fires per minute by 22%. Which for the math wizards, they will realize it's about 45 fires a minute. Which is fucking bananas. Obviously, the debate is, do you grab emergency repair or fire prevention? I think because you have fast DCP, the answer is always emergency repair expert. I think that this is like the only case is ships like this, ships like Schlieffen, that have the fast DCP with the limited charges. I think on those boats, you always take emergency repair over fire prevention because, especially in games with like carriers, right? Like there are games where like you literally spawn and 45 seconds later you get double fired. Like, are you going to eat the double fire? Or even the single fire running out of spawn? Are you just going to eat a whole heal worth of damage? Or are you going to insta-DCP? No. So then you can insta-DCP without failure, right? There's obviously, like, also you're only going to be on fire for, like, 40 seconds, right, with this boat. So it's not as bad. But you definitely want full secondaries all the way, which I, like, almost recommend on nothing else other than, like, Libtard line, Schlieffen line, this boat. Very few boats that I would say that's true of. Like Pommern isn't even a secondary. I don't know. We're gonna get to Pommern, bro. But this ship is definitely up there with some of the worst BBs in the game in Tier 9. And then we can look at the motherfucking hull, bro. Now, okay. A tiny asset is you're very resilient to normal 203 HE spam because you have 35 deck. And 35 is not penned by normal 203s, right? Like Des Moines, fucking Zhao, right? Those kind of boats. They pen 34, not 35, so I guess. Now, what is funny is Satsuma, Incomparable, Shikishima, right? The 20-inch gunboats, they overmatch 35. So this ship is hilarious when you fight against like Satsuma. But this is the part. This is really just the issue. The main issue is like you cannot angle. Like even if you are perfectly bow in, you're not angled. You can still just get fucking clicked in the side of your boat. And if you're angled just like even a little like this, like if you go perfectly bow in, they at least have to snipe the casemate. But like if you're just trying to get some secondaries in the fight, not even unshielding the rear guns. You're just at this angle, you aim here. People aim right here, 30k is gone at close range. At secondary range, 30k is gone, right? You kind of have an icebreaker, but if I take the nose away, it's like the reason why that guy Citadel this through the bow with overmatch is like the icebreaker doesn't slope up, right? Like some icebreakers will kick up a little bit, but this doesn't. So like anything that comes in just over the icebreaker that overmatches your bow will Citadel you, right? And then of course, let's go ahead and peel off the rest of these layers of armor real quick. And this Citadel is way the fuck out of the water, buddy. Hoo-wee. It is out of the water. 340. Not only is this not angled, okay, it's angled the wrong way, right? It's angled inward, which is making the armor more flat than flat. Flat armor is actually unironically better than inward angled armor. Because if you get shot at any range beyond 0.1 kilometers, the shells are arcing down. So this is presenting a more, we call it, we might use the term a bespoke angle to allow citadels to occur. And it's 340, and then it's 50. And again, even the citadel is angled the wrong way. So 400 mils a pen, citadels you. That's like every BB in the game basically out to like max range. I mean, there might be like some 380 mil BBs in the game that can't citadel you at max range. I don't even know. I mean, honestly, you know what? We're gonna look this up real quick. Can a board can all say citadel you if you go flat? Let's look it up real quick. At 20 km, yep, all say citadels the fuck out of you. GG Reds. So, I mean, essentially every ship with BB caliber guns in the game, you go flat, you take citadels. Which isn't that big of a problem because you could just not be retarded like I was in that first replay. You could be a non-retard, unlike me, and not go flat, but then you go bow and you get fucking nukes. So you've got insanely cracked secondaries, like truly amazing secondaries that you just simply never are allowed to use, and you constantly just ram your head against the wall, Sisyphus rolling your boulder up the fucking hill, for all eternity, trying to get that one game. Oh, that one game where one, I get to secondary people, and two, they don't click my casemate cell trappers. The one game in like 20 where both of those things are able to happen, and then you're like, ha 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 ha, ha. I have 17 fires, and I'm 6 minutes into the game, and the whole lobby's burning. It's like 1 in 20 games, bro. And if you're not in one of those 1 in 20 games, you have like fucking junk ass guns and a junk ass hull, and you're slow, and a terrible reload with no DPM. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. It's dog shit. Overall, one of the worst boats in the game for sure at tier 9. Insanely bad. Really no redeeming factor. Like, again, if we just, let's look at the speed real quick. Yeah, 29 knots with speed flag. Great turning circle, mediocre runner shift, but 29 knots of speed. So, like, you're one of the slowest battleships in tier 9. So you just cannot keep people in secondary range. They could just go flat, take maybe 20k, run away, and they're gone forever. And in the meantime, you were angled like 25 degrees to shoot some of your secondaries at them. And the 42 win rate, the 42 win rate Iowa player just randomly aims center mass and 25k you, and you have gimped healings, you built into secondaries, and now you're fucked. GG Reds. So anyway, that'll do it for the Navarin. It's a silly, goofy boat. It's pretty terrible. The size of this schnoz too is like unreal. I mean, real quick though, I also will say, if you're in a lobby where people overmatch 32, you actually are maybe in the worst boat in the game, in the entire game, because the size of this lad, the absolute size of the schnoz on this lad is unreal. Anyway, that is it for the Navarin. It is insanely dog shit. Easily a top 3 worst tier 9 BB in the entire video game. Strong, maybe like top 2 contender. But I think we all know what's the worst tier 9 BB in the game, guys. I think those of us that have not been living in 2017 for the last few years know. So anyway, thank you for watching as always, and we will see you in the next one.